The Peace That Devours. Chapter 1. The Fragile Peace. A sharp, salty scent of brine and damp stone filled the air, anchoring Ely's Brennan immediately in the gritty chaos of the city's heart. His fingers brushed the rough, cool cobblestones beneath him, each one a silent witness to centuries of upheaval. The distant clang of metal and the murmur of voices layered into a tense symphony, every sound a warning. He pushed forward, heart pounding, eyes darting for threats amid the crowded streets. The ticking clock in his mind matched the rapid drumming of his pulse, each second slipping away, closer to catastrophe. The pounding of footsteps echoed behind him, a relentless drumbeat that matched his racing thoughts. He darted into a narrow alley, the shadows swallowing him whole as he pushed against the barricade of crates blocking his way. The scent of burnt herbs and stale sweat filled his nostrils, grounding him in the immediate danger. He burst onto a wider street, the morning light glinting off the baying weapons of Garen's men. A sudden shout,
"Stop!"
cut through the air as guards converged from all directions. Elis's lungs burned as he sprinted past the market stalls, the smell of fish and roasted roots thick in the air, every moment a gamble against the relentless clock. A hidden side door swung open at the edge of a tavern, and a figure beckoned urgently. Without hesitation, Elis slipped inside, the door swinging shut behind him with a thud. Inside, maps and documents cluttered the cramped room, the scent of ink and burnt candle wax heavy. The resistance leader's eyes burned with urgency.
72 hours.
He muttered.
Every second counts. We need new allies, new plans.
Elis nodded, feeling time pressing down on him, each breath a struggle against the mounting chaos. The distant roar of the city's unrest seeped through the walls as Elis moved to a window, peering out at the chaos unfolding in the streets. The clock's relentless march haunted him, each second a nail in the coffin, if they failed. The leader's voice drew him back.
We act now or never.
The room's air thickened, the tension almost palpable as the moment of decision loomed. His hand clenched the carved bone token in his pocket, a talisman of resolve amidst the storm. As the first flames flickered in the distant horizon, Elis stared into the smoky twilight. The chaos outside was a mirror of his own mind, chaotic, dangerous, yet filled with flickering hope. His fingers tightened around the bone token, a symbol of his unwavering purpose. The city's fate hung in the balance, and he knew that every decision from this moment on would ripple through history. The ticking clock echoed in his ears as he stepped into the shadows, ready to face the storm head-on, determined to carve a path through the chaos. The invitation said celebration. The locked doors and drawn curtains said something else entirely. Inside the dimly lit chamber of the quiet conclave, the air was thick with the scent of damp earth and ink, a quiet tension simmering beneath the surface of ancient stone and weathered wood. Viral Xantha's fingers brushed the rough bark of a sapling, grounding himself amid the layered textures and subdued sounds. Outside, the city whispered of unrest. But here, in this room of fragile alliances, every surface and scent told a story of impending upheaval, as the clock's silent countdown pressed down on all. Varel's gaze flicked upward to the twisted, interlaced branches overhead, casting mottled shadows that danced with the restless wind. Fingers trailing along the cold, slick stones of the square, he noted the slipperiness beneath his boots, each contact a reminder of the unseen dangers lurking under the surface calm. The faint croak of frogs echoed from the dark underbrush, a primal rhythm under the murmurs of distant voices. His palm found the rough bark of a nearby tree, coarse ridges pressing into his skin, anchoring him as thoughts churned under the surface. The scent of aged parchment curled in the air, mingling with damp earth and the faint iron tang of ink, grounding him in the physical reality of this place, the textures, the dampness, the subtle signs of unrest. Viral paused beside the weathered oak table, eyes drawn to the ink stains and faded maps, etched into its surface remnants of plans and hopes folded and refolded like the layers of his own past. The scent of damp soil and old ink mingled, recalling a morning in his childhood village, rain washing away the last of fragile optimism. His knuckles whitened as he traced a scar under his sleeve, a silent witness to battles fought and lost both outside and within. A rustle snapped his attention, a slight tightening of a jaw. A glance away, no words needed to betray suspicion. His voice cut through the silence. "Look, we can't afford secrets here. Mark my words, silence will be our undoing." The shadows lengthened as the last light slipped behind the fractured glass of the windows, casting jagged streaks across the stone floor. Virel pressed the bone token to his chest, its cool surface a stark contrast to the rising tide of chaos beyond the chamber. Outside, distant shouts and the clang of armor signaled the city's unrest had reached a breaking point. The fragile alliance held by thin threads strained to snapping, yet he clung to the hope that every moment of clarity was a chance to steer the storm away. His gaze lingered on the darkened doorway, a silent vow etched in bone and sweat. He would face whatever came with unwavering resolve, for the fate of the city depended on his next move. 65.5 hours remain before Garen's uprising spills chaos into the city. Joran Sable's boots echo sharply across the hall, each step a countdown. The air thickens with the scent of ink, burnt circuits and damp earth, layered like the city's own heartbeat. Shadows pool in every corner, whispering secrets of betrayal and hope. Time presses, relentless as Joran's mind races through strategies and memories, the taste of bitter herbal tea lingering on his tongue like a promise of action. Every breath, every heartbeat pushes him closer to the edge of disaster. The quiet conclave is a crucible, and he must forge victory before the clock runs out. Joran's fingers drummed an uneven rhythm against the stone balustrade, each tap a silent countdown. The scent of ink pulled him back to his earliest hours in the archives, hunched beneath flickering candlelight, tracing dusty tomes for truths better left forgotten. That long night had taught him patience, endurance, lessons now vital against the ticking clock. His eyes flicked to a sealed door across the room, the lock's intricate design reminding him of puzzles he'd once solved with desperate hands. A sudden scuff echoed. He froze, muscles taut, heart racing before settling. No threat, just a courier's hurried steps. Still, the city's unrest seeped inward, threading through every corner. Joran stepped forward, voice low, rough edges smoothing.
No more waiting, no more doubts.
He murmured, eyes fixed on the shadows. The silence was thick, almost mocking.
Mark my words, this fragile peace won't hold. Not with Garen's fire at the gates.
His gaze caught a smudge on the wall, a faded emblem, half erased by time. It stirred a memory of his father's stern lectures about loyalty and sacrifice. Legacy pressed down again. Joran flexed his hands, knuckles white against the stone's cold scratch.
Listen here,
He muttered, more to himself than any unseen witness.
we're out of time. Every second wasted feeds the chaos.
Suddenly, a gust flared through the hall, carrying the faintest hint of smoke and ash. His nostrils flared, the scent pulling at a buried fear, the night his village burned, flames devouring all he knew. He swallowed hard, forcing the memory back into its cage.
No, not now.
He breathed, stepping away from the window. The past clawed at him, but he wouldn't let it break him here. His fingers found the locket hidden beneath his tunic, tracing its cool metal surface, a habit born of restless nights and whispered prayers. The locket's familiar weight steadied the storm inside.
We don't get second chances.
He whispered, voice tight.
Not anymore.
The quiet conclave offered no comfort, only unspoken truths and looming decisions. His jaw clenched. The battle ahead would demand everything. Joran's hands trembled as he stared at the blank screen, the masked message echoing in his mind. The relentless ticking of the clock filled the silence. 65 hours remaining, and the city's a stubborn hope frayed with each passing second. The communications flickered back to life, but the reach of Garen's insurgents had expanded, their resolve hardening. He swallowed the dry lump in his throat, every muscle taut with exhaustion and resolve.
They're coming,
He murmured, voice strained.
and we have to be ready.
The room hummed with hurried preparations, yet he knew this was merely the calm before the storm, a brief pause before chaos reclaims the streets. His gaze drifted toward the distant horizon, where flickering flames hinted at the coming darkness, and he tightened his grip on the bone token, his silent vow to face whatever was coming.